Coming up, the government remains committed to assisting those in need post-Hurricane Dorian. Also, the interruption of data services impacting thousands of REV and Alive customers. And police needs your help in locating 2 wanted suspects. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Roparkis, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance giving an update tonight on rebuilding efforts post-Hurricane Dorian. Portions of Abaco and Grand Bahama were decimated by the storm, and 1 year later, rebuilding continues. In this report, the Finance Minister says that the government remains committed to helping those still in need. Jamila Mizik has our top story.
Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, the Honorable K. Peter Turnquest says, 1 year later, a major concern that residents still have is the pace of recovery and rebuilding efforts post-Hurricane Dorian. He says the government knows that there is tremendous need and persons are still dislocated from their communities. However, unfortunately, the resources to assist is limited, but he says the government has been trying to meet the need as best as they can within those limited resources.
We certainly want to encourage residents to take advantage of the tax concessions that have been put in place and extended through the end of June 2021. The extension for importation of vehicles, duty-free and VAT-free, will expire in December of this year, but the building materials and the like will extend through 2021. And we want to encourage people not to wait till the last minute, but to try as best they can to acquire the materials they need in order to rebuild.
The DPM says it has been a tremendous experience for residents given all that has happened, and that has been further impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Even resources that would have been normally allocated to reconstruction has had to be rediverted now to COVID response. To assist with health infrastructure, to assist with the operating cost of running a 24-hour emergency, in effect, response to COVID-19, the cost of materials to again provide the services, the cost of social assistance to persons who have been dislocated as a result of loss of jobs or closures. It's just been staggering. And so all of this has come as almost a perfect storm for us, and it's we are seeing the challenges as a result of it.
But he's encouraging residents to continue to plug along and notes that the government will continue to provide as much assistance as they can, recognizing the limitations and recognizing the needs of residents. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, data interruption from Alive and REV impacting customers nationwide. Tonight, the general manager of the Northern Bahamas, revealing the reason behind that outage. Thousands of Alive and Cable Bahamas or REV customers without data services yesterday. General Manager of the Northern Bahamas, Dominic Petty, telling ZNS News that customers were impacted intermittently as a result of equipment failure in Nassau.
That was actually as a result of failure of the air conditioning unit in the province. And so what happened was when the air conditioning failed, the equipment, the data center, they actually overheated. There are some of the equipment that do have safe mode, but one of the core equipment did not, so it kind of overheated, which actually resulted in some of the data services that were down. So that's a live data as well as the cable modem system.
But today there seems to be some resolve.
The issue has been resolved, so we are monitoring it. And also, trying to, put some things in place to avoid, something like that from happening again. In terms of what time it happened, it actually happened early yesterday morning. and I think we were able to get the system up fully by probably early afternoon or so.
Many persons voicing their concerns, particularly since the data outage took place at a time when thousands of students are using internet services for schooling. Many were left speculating that this could be as a result of overcrowding on the system. But here's what Petty says.
Definitely not that. That was totally unrelated. It's probably purely coincidental that it actually happened on, I think, the day that the school you're supposed to stop. But I was totally two separate interviews. Had nothing to do with that.
Now, for those Alive and Rev customers still experiencing internet or data issues, Patty's advice is to contact customer services, as all services should have been restored today. Well, it is day 2 of the new school term, and for students showing up for classes, it's a new reality. As Jamila Mizik tells us, public school students at both the primary and high school level are trying to adjust to the change.
It is day 2 of the academic year for public school students across the country. Here in Grants, Bahama, at the Hugh Campbell Primary School, Acting Principal Rodney Bethel says they're excited to welcome the students back on campus.
As you know, it would have been March 13th when they were last on campus, and we're excited to welcome them back. There's significant improvements have been made to the school. We have a new roof, painting on the interior and exterior. Our classrooms that were without tiles have been tiled, and we have quite a bit of technology for this new term.
Bethel says so far, about half of the students enrolled have reported to school, and by the end of the week, they're expecting that more students will show up for classes. He notes that while the school is continuing with face-to-face learning, if there is the need to do hybrid learning, they have the technological devices to do so, thanks to generous donations.
For safety purposes, we've come up with a plan for the grade 1, 2, 5, and 6 students to enter the front entrance, and the 3rd, 4th, and the preschoolers, the back entrance, just to ensure that we have social distancing and to ensure that there's no gathering.
Now, it was a similar situation over at the Morrismore Primary School. Principal Tammy Ellis Elliott says this year the school will be continuing face-to-face learning.
We had all our students come in. The process went a little smooth. It could have been a little better, but the first time everybody's coming back from a long time. And so we just took our times and we got everything together and showed the students where exactly they are to go.
She says they've installed hand sanitizers all over the school to adhere to safety protocols. She notes that some parents are still skeptical about their children returning to the classroom, but they expect that enrollment will climb.
We're looking for the children to learn, and we're looking for them to social distance. There's a lot of training that have to take place, and so we're in the process this week of doing a lot of training for the children, walking on campus, social distancing, playing, just doing a lot of different things. And it takes a lot of time to train, and so we ask that parents will come on board by packing a lunch for their children. In this first instance, we will be having the lunch vendors on board, but we're trying to train them this time now so that they would be able to know where to go and how they need to go about getting their lunches.
Now, it was the second day of orientation at the St. George's High School, and Principal Shannon Roll says 95% of students that registered have showed up to school. This year, they'll be doing hybrid learning.
Hybrid is where students come for 3 days face-to-face and 2 days virtual. So we have 2 grade levels coming each day, and they'll be doing hybrid.
She says there are also some additional changes this year.
As it stands right now, we are focusing on the instructional program, ensuring that our teachers and our students are able to access the virtual learning platform and also trained on how to use the EMIS and the LMS systems. As you know, last year we had Dorian, so the enrollment wasn't as high, but this year the enrollment is higher than last year. I'm expecting an exciting school year. This school, I am so pleased with St. George's High School. We are an extraordinary school, and we have extraordinary teachers at the school. The school normally experience excellent results with our BGCSE and our BJCs, and I can expect that to continue this year.
Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Well, over at the Beacon School, Grand Bahamas' only special needs school, teachers and administrators are welcoming their students with open arms after nearly 7 months without face-to-face interactions. Shay Philippe has more.
After an extended break due to COVID-19, teachers are welcoming students at the Beacon School for day 2 of classes under cautious guidelines and safety practices to protect both students and teachers. Principal T.T. McKinsey Moore says after weeks of teachers' professional development sessions, she's impressed with what she has seen.
This being the second day of school, I must say that everything is running smoothly. The students are following all our guidelines and protocols, and also our staff members. And the parents are also doing what we requested of them. So we are very pleased with the second day reopening of school.
For teachers, transitioning from the traditional classroom in-person setting to virtual learning and now a combination of both learning tools has not been easy. However, special education professionals Shadia Cooper and Krishanta Butcher says they are excited to finally be back in the classroom.
It's been a long 7 months, but we are finally back. We've been anticipating the start of the new school year, and when we got into the swing of things yesterday, it was a pretty smooth transition. The students came in, they adjusted really well to the new procedures, and each day we're just preparing them for what they have to do while on campus. When the students came in yesterday, they seemed pretty knowledgeable about what has been going on. They are very compliant, they wear their masks, they ask a lot of questions, and they were eager to share their experiences of home and what they already know about COVID-19.
We're following everything. If you can see outside, we have the social distancing footsteps, and I am really confident that everything will be good here at the Beacon School, and I just want to ease the concerns of the parents who have not returned yet because of those safety concerns. And like I say, the students are excited to be back to school. I'm excited, and I'm ready for a great positive year.
For students like Stephen Russell and Kevin Jean who returned to campus, they were looking forward to opening week.
It feels great to be back, that we finally get to come back on campus, even though we're in the middle of COVID. It feels strange to see a little difference, but we still getting used to it.
I'm glad to be back to school and to see my teacher and my friends. We do a little work online, virtual learning and PDF, just keep our brains running and everything. I'm glad to see my friends, and I'm glad to see all my teachers. They inspired me again to see school again.
Mackenzie Moss also adds that the adjustment for students has been straightforward.
Our kids, just like normal children, they do understand. And once you explain to kids what's happening and once you model to them, they will definitely follow it. So our parents have been modeling, the kids have been seeing what needs to be done, and they are following the protocols. Of course, we have some challenges with some of our kids who are not able to wear their masks. But as the school year go on and we keep modeling for them, they will definitely get it.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
And in news from the Crime Beat, the Criminal Investigations Department, Grand Bahama issuing a wanted bulletin for Garth Ewing Jr., whose last known address is Hannah Hill, 8 Mile Rock. Ewing Jr. is wanted for attempted murder. The 30-year-old is said to have dark brown eyes, brown complexion, medium built, 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing between 210 to 220 pounds with a low haircut. Police are advising anyone who may come into contact with Garth Ewing Jr. to approach with extreme caution. If you have any information concerning Ewing Jr., you should call 911-350-3016-9 or your nearest police station. And meantime, the police still searching for 29-year-old Kenrick Hanna, the man accused of the murder of Monet Darville a year ago. Hanna is wanted on the charge of violation of the Bail Act. He is of dark brown complexion, muscular, 5 feet 10 inches tall, 210 pounds, with tattoos on his arm, leg, and chest. His last known address is Kingsway apartment here in Freeport, and police say if you see Kenrick Hanna, you should approach him with caution. If you know his whereabouts, you should also contact 911-350-3106-9 or 302-8430 or your nearest police station.
Deaconess D. McKenzie, and I attend New Life Worship Center. My encouragement comes to you today from Isaiah 60:1 and Psalms 112 and verse 4. And it says, "They will be so kind and merciful and good that they will be a light in the dark for others who do the right thing. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee." In the midst of darkness, COVID-19, there are two things you can do: worship or weep. The fastest thing that is spreading on the earth is not COVID-19, but Jesus. COVID-19 has nothing on God. Darkness can be a scary place, but if you know God, you would understand that when He shows up, light come into darkness. Darkness is God's victory ground. I want to encourage you tonight to trust in God. Lean not to your own understanding. Know that when darkness comes, God is light. So when He steps in the room, everything when it comes to darkness has to flee. Be encouraged. Know that God is with you, and He will strengthen you, and He will uphold you with His righteous right hand, the hand that will never let you go in the midst of a storm, in the midst of darkness. God bless you today.
A bittersweet celebration at the Grand Bahama Children's Home this past Friday. We will explain when we return.